And here we have our Bioactive Systems. This has been a labor of love for the past couple of months. This started off as just an extra storage room, and we've built it out into something beautiful. The whole point of the Bioactive Systems is really just to replicate nature as best as possible, all the way down to bioactive soil that has live and active cultures of archaea, rhizomal fungi, as well as bacteria that are going to be used to just break things down and keep that system going. We have an all-natural misting system that runs a couple times a day, really modular to really gear in how much humidity we want in there, keep the plants hydrated and growing well, all the way down to several different kinds of lights to just emulate the kind of lights we need for the animals specifically in each enclosure. It's a little bit different for the green tree monitors than, for instance, our White's tree frogs. We even broke it down all the way to having 2 different species of springtails and several different species of top-dwelling and burrowing isopods. Once again, just to keep that system moving of breaking things down, nutriating the soil. The soil helps the plants grow, the plants die. Those feed the cleanup crew, as they call it, and then just the cycle continues. So we found that morning wood made by Repashy is actually a really great product for isopods. Since I'm getting these to form a colony here before we add green tree monitors, I want to make sure that since they feed on a lot of detritus and there's not a lot being produced right now, that I give them plenty of food to really take over. And as you can see, if you take a look in here, they're already gravitating towards the moistened food in there. Being morning wood, it has a lot of cellulose and wood-based plant material in there, as well as some basic nutrients. It's basically a closed system replicating nature as best as possible. And really, the linchpin has been the soils that we've gotten from BioDude. They come pre-hydrated depending on what you're really going for it. So the Terra Flora will have different hydration from, say, the Terra Firma, which is meant for ball pythons and monitors, things like that, burrowing species. Made it super easy, and it's something we really stand by, and it's just done really great work here. So with the green tree monitors, a lot of work went in before we even had them on site. Cade, myself, Christian, we're all doing tons of research, reading research papers, finding out exactly what their UV needs, what Ferguson zone are they in, what kind of light do they normally experience in the wild, and how to replicate that as close as possible. How much their basking spot has to be temp-wise, what the ideal humidity is, what their feeding habits are. Just everything we can to give them the most natural environment as possible. And to, of course, keep the transition from, being in a much bigger area to suddenly being in an enclosure, ease that transition and help them out. One of the really cooler things that we've discovered having these in here, so green tree monitors, they're arboreal. They're going to be sub-canopy dwelling. So they spend a lot of time pretty high up, but obviously we don't have that much space when we're introducing them into enclosures. So we actually have seen some really novel behaviors that we haven't necessarily heard a whole lot about. For instance, when we first got them in, before we really dialed in the enclosures, having the safe spots for them to hide and avoid human interaction, which they want to do, they're more avoidant by nature, we found them actually great to be digging. We had some close calls where we thought one escaped, only to just barely see their tails sticking out of the soil.
So what you should use for monitors, plant-wise, is something like the ficus trees running around. You want to use something that's stiff enough to where they can still be on top of it without it just falling all the way over. So this is the ficus Benjamin evergreen. It's a very sturdy plant. You can actually just yank it and it goes right back to where it goes. We use these for the monitors, for the green tree pythons. They're very good with having small animals be on top of them without destroying it.
Almost every day, Cade's in here working with these green tree monitors because they have millions of years of evolution saying, hey, if I get picked up, it's over. And so it's really just helping them learn that this is safe, this is okay, that if I'm being picked up, it's going to be all right. And it's a work in process, and the ones that are born captive bred, obviously that process is a lot quicker, but we have to get to that point. And the upside too of us having this captive breeding program is that it does ease up some of that ecological pressure of people wild farming or wild catching. It's more humane. They're less likely to have parasites, hitchhikers, mites, because they're captive bred. We're able to control the environment and the environment that they're finding themselves in, and you just don't have to worry about those things. So it's much more humane for the animal, and it's providing a good, trustworthy source for the industry for people to get these.
Okay, now this is my first time ever experiencing this, so I'm just going to sort of stand back.
You sure you don't want to touch it?
Can I touch it?
You can touch it.
Okay, so does it bite? Because I've got this rule around here. I'm never going to get bitten. Okay,
try
I'm
the
kidding.
back.
I'm kidding. Hi, baby. We're going to be best friends. Okay, deworming time.
Yes.
Okay. How'd that happen? He just opened his mouth for you.
Because, like you said, they knew what they were doing. They knew what today was. Oh, good
That's
job.
awesome.
He was just ready for it.
Okay, so we need to know why we're deworming them.
Well, these happen to be wild caught. So the deworming, we deworm them, and then about 7 to 10 days later, you give them a second dose, and then they should be good to go.
Okay, so that would be just the same thing you would probably do with a puppy or a kitten.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same, but because of wild caught, there's more chance of something going on in there. Okay, so more of a preventative stuff.
Yep.
Perfect. So when would you think you're going to start breeding these?
So we're
Age-wise,
actually
they're ready?
going to, yes, so we're going to try it on Monday. We're
Oh.
going to start our first pairing on Monday.
Perfect timing.
But it takes like almost 155 to 164 days for the eggs to actually incubate and hatch.
Okay.
So they can have up to about 3 to, biting down on it. Yeah. They can have up to like 3 clutches a year.
Okay.
So that's really
I'm sorry, this is
interesting.
probably the cutest thing I've ever seen. I just feel like wiping your lips there, Betty.
He might bite you. You want to try though?
No, I definitely don't.
You don't?
No, I have that rule, no biting.
No bites?
I'm just fascinated that once they do calm down, how easy it is to do this. I think some people may actually look and think, that might be cruel, that might be hurting them, you're forcing them to do this, and that obviously by watching them, you're getting you're getting more. Exactly, it's just a very natural thing. Well, that was our deworming for our green tree monitors here at Wilbanks Captive Bred Reptiles. Thank you to these two guys for showing us how it's done. Amazing. You guys want to get all these videos? Please like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and don't miss us every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. See you then.